So, hello everyone. I just want to, say I apologize. You can watch the other team's video explaining why I was unable to show up to office hours virtually today and this morning. While I'm trying to get better lighting because, um, recording yourself every day is just making you hyper cognizant of your facial features. Um, but yeah, so today I apologize for what took place. Long story short, my operating system on my computer was being difficult, or updating my operating system on my computer took a lot longer than I expected. So, but I just wanted to go over a couple of misconceptions that I've been seeing on the DBQs and some places that I feel like I wanted to intervene. I've been intervening a lot. I get feedback on all the essays that you submit to me. I do take a while to give feedback because I am honestly giving genuine and specific feedback. I'm going and reading through all of your essay, making sure that the feedback I give you is something that is valuable and something that can help you score better on the AP exam on May 21st, and also score better in general or also be more college ready, because that's the ultimate goal. So I want you to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I don't know what the heck that is, but I'll check. And I wanted to open up the document-based question rubric that I designed for you. So a lot of you, your DBQ is going to be out of 10 points. Really, if you score 9 or 10 points, I would imagine you get a 5. Even if you score 8 points, you probably will get a 5. 7, maybe even 6 points is a 4, and maybe 5 points and up is a 3. I don't know. This is just, it depends on what college board ultimately determines when they grade these essays. But the first point is the contextualization point. You include specific dates and talk about what happened previously, or talk about a major idea about what is taking place in AP world history. So that's my suggestion for the contextualization point. My biggest pushback for those that include it is that a lot of you have really long and lengthy contextualizations. Maybe if you just center your contextualization around one specific event. So in the last DBQ that we wrote about European exploration and the motives of European exploration, maybe you focus on in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and talk about how significant of an event that was and how impactful that event was, right? In 3 sentences. So that would be contextualization, focusing on a specific event. You could also talk about something. I like thinking that ideas and ideologies play a major role in events in AP and developments in AP world history. So maybe talk about a specific idea or an ideology that's going around in the time period. For the European exploration essay, you can talk about mercantilism and how the economic policies associated with mercantilism both was kind of a motive for European exploration and is this huge impactful ideology and idea behind the best way to organize economies and politics that had a huge effect all through European exploration. So just talking about mercantilism, maybe defining it, would be really cool. Maybe if you have a DBQ on the Industrial Revolution, or like the outcomes are, or I'm sorry, on, yeah, maybe the Industrial Revolution, maybe you can talk about, ideas and ideologies. I think that one would be harder to add maybe contextualization, because contextualization is more previous or previous ideas usually, or things going on at that time. But ideologies associated with the Industrial Revolution are like Marxism and laissez-faire capitalism. So talking about, that's what my recommendation is, right? And then keep it 3 sentences. It goes before the thesis. A thesis includes a claim and a why / because / line of reasoning. We talked about this. We talked about what a claim is. Usually the best theses are 2 sentences, at least, or they're a little bit longer. Don't be afraid. I know that for a lot of the writing that you've done thus far, a thesis is usually just 1 short, quick sentence. But for academic essays that you're going to write in college, and for essays that you are writing in AP World History, 2 sentences is a good rule of thumb. Your thesis should also project your arguments. You turn your theses into topic sentences because your thesis is basically the central argument of your essay, and then your body paragraphs. You should start off your body paragraphs with mini arguments, which are called topic sentences. They're the first sentence in your body paragraph, and usually you just derive them directly from the thesis. So I'm not seeing a lot of complication there. The big complication I'm seeing is here in contextualization. You guys are either writing something too vague. Some of you are writing like mysterious language going on. I can't really think of any examples off the top of my head, but there's a lot of you are writing just too vague, and so maybe you need to start trying to include like a date or a time frame to your contextualization, or including a specific idea like mercantilism or ideology, right? That's my pushback. Specific evidence, you're going to use 4 documents to support an argument. So all of you are doing really good. You're trying your best to use at least all 5 documents, which is something I recommend. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Specific and relevant outside information outside the documents, a lot of you are not doing this. So this is also a major area I wanted to address. A lot of you are simply failing to do this. I think this is probably the easiest point to win. This can become like 2 lines. It could be about a specific date, right? If you have a document about Pizarro, like that existed in the European exploration essay, then maybe you talk about, because none of the documents talked about it, this is specific and relevant information outside the document, about his conquests of the Incan Empire. That would be specific and relevant information or pieces of evidence outside of the documents. They also have to tie back to your arguments that you're arguing. Analysis and reasoning, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. This is where we're having a lot of trouble. I know we've been doing SOAP all year because I know it's such a huge and important tool for thinking critically and critically evaluating documents. Critically evaluating documents is a stepping stone, and it allows you to develop and hone important critical thinking skills that you're going to use in college and in life. But basically, SOAP analysis, and I have the anchor chart from school because I went back to school to clear out my classroom, and that's probably why there's so many books in my makeshift office here, because I went back and I rated the little library that I was developing for you guys in the classroom, and now all the books are here, all of which are really good. So like if you see a title, well, I can't really lend it to you, but I can maybe give you a summary. That was kind of dark, but SOAP analysis really is centered. I want you guys to practice, finding every letter of SOAP analysis, because I wanted to push you guys to, when we were eventually going to start writing DBQs, which we wrote our first DBQ, I believe in December. We started early, we did a good job there. But I wanted you guys to then realize that SOAP analysis could be even easier for you, and you only really need 1 letter, but you need 1 letter that's really good, and then explain how that 1 letter of SOAP analysis either makes the document more credible or less credible, or how it's relevant to the argument. And so I'm going to explain what that is in a bit. So let me pull up another document. I'm going to use this as an example for outside evidence, but right now, also look how nice my computer screen looks, my desktop looks. That's so amazing. I really appreciate it. So let's look up SOAP, or let's just look up really quickly. What is it? Where did I put it? I think I put it. Yeah, there it is. So, for example, when so document 3 was, the speaker was a Spanish missionary. So I focused on the S in SOAP analysis. So in document 3, a Spanish missionary criticizes Spaniards' eagerness to plunder and steal gold and riches from the people they conquered. He likened Spaniards to pigs. And then I explained the significance of the fact that he's a Spanish missionary. So the fact a Spanish missionary who journeyed to the New World was critical of the motives of fellow Spaniards. So I'm emphasizing that this is coming from a Spanish perspective, and the fact that he's critical of fellow Spaniards suggests that economic motives were central to European exploration, right? So I'm talking about, you know, how the fact that he's a Spanish missionary and he's criticizing fellow Spaniards, even he's doing it, boosts the credibility of his claim, which is that the Spaniards are really just there mainly for economic motives, gold and riches, which is the central argument of my essay. That's what SOAP analysis is all about. You can also, related to SOAP analysis and integrating outside evidence, is the O in SOAP analysis, occasion. So you can see here, document 4 recounts Francisco or this is from the essay of a student. This goes into this is integrating outside evidence and explaining how that that outside evidence, which would also be occasion and then would also count as specific and relevant outside evidence, sources the document. And here's how. So in document 4, the essay writer here says that document 4 recounts Francisco Pizarro speaking to Native Americans, declaring that although his purpose is to explore the continent, he is doing so for the sake of their souls, that they may be converted to Catholicism and saved for damnation. So she's just summarizing the point of the document. But then she adds historical context. So she focuses on the O and SOAP and specific and relevant information by saying Francisco Pizarro explored South America in the late 15th century and was funded by the Spanish crown. While claiming to save indigenous souls, Pizarro brought the Spanish influence that would eventually subjugate the Native Americans to the encomienda system. They actually really converted the Mita system. It was slightly different, but that's okay. Under this system, Native Americans had very few rights and were forced to labor, aside from becoming laborers, millions of natives. So she adds historical context to dispel and discredit the main idea and thrust of Pizarro's claim in document 4. So that's a really good job. And that's all I wanted to focus on today. More in discussion sections. These are the big areas that we're going to hit hard. Integrating outside evidence that is relevant to your argument, and soaping and sourcing correctly.